Boom, and we're live.
All right.
All right, Ray.
Rock and roll.
Ray Hoffman.
That's me.
Thanks for coming down, man.
You got it anytime.
You know, I got you up pretty early
Way too early for me.
on a Saturday.
I didn't think I was going to make it.
You got here.
It looked really doubtful, I got to tell you.
Yeah.
Speaking of which, I think you owe me $150.
Got to Uber you in
Yeah.
to get you out of it.
I feel important.
You are.
Yeah. That's what my mom tells me anyway.
So, I wanted to get you in and just kind of, just catch up and see what you're up to. And, just have a conversation. So,
Yeah.
what's going on in your world, man?
As far as...
We could, work-wise.
Work.
Let's start
Yes.
there. That's a simple.
I was thinking about
intro.
work. Yeah, it's important to work. It's what makes the world go round.
Huh.
Because I was thinking about it when I was getting Ubered in. I was like, if there was no such thing as money, this guy would definitely not be driving me here right now. There's no way.
Right. Yeah.
Why would you do it?
Right. That makes sense. That makes sense. So, what kind of work now are you doing? Because we've been.
So I'm the director of talent acquisition and people operations for a tech startup called Casisto.
Sounds super important.
The company or?
Title.
Oh, yeah?
Everything about it. Yeah.
Yeah, sure. Absolutely. I think I wrote it myself. But I got it signed off on, of course. But
Nice. So, a director. Say that again.
Director of talent acquisition and people operations.
Okay.
So basically, that would be the hiring and building a culture for the company.
Because that word's been, we've been in the business, 20 years, right?
Yeah,
We started together. For those who don't know,
that's right. 20 years ago.
Ray hired me.
I did. We worked together for a while there.
Yeah, I remember going
A couple
into.
of iterations.
Yeah, we were talking about it before the show, and you brought me in, and first interview went on site, and we were in a small little conference room, and here you come in, and I had a couple of years of experience, or a couple months. I remember back then, but
Yeah, you had a couple of years experience.
couple years
yeah,
at that point, and then right away we just had a just off the cuff type.
I had you do a role play.
Role play,
I had you do a role play.
and I didn't even know how to like at the end of that it was
I think I was the candidate, and I made you play recruiter.
play recruiter, right?
Yeah.
I didn't know what to say. I didn't know how to speak. My words were. I was stumbling at my words. I came out of the interview. And I was like, wow, that was.
You did well. You got the job. You did good enough.
Did good enough. Yeah, yeah, and but anyway, so for you, in your current role as director over at Casisto.
Right. I like the way you say it, Casisto, but that's right.
Oh, is that right? Oh, sorry.
I like you put the way you enunciate it. Good.
The emphasis on
The emphasis on the I'm not sure what. Casisto.
Yeah, I just like the word. So explain a little bit about that in terms of what you do on a day-to-day basis there. What's your purpose?
Purpose, that's a better word for it.
Okay.
Day to day, who knows what I'm doing from one day to the next. But yeah, I mean, the purpose, really my focus, I think, over the past few years. Obviously, when I first came in, it was very few people. We were looking. The company had its first customer. We needed to make some deliverables, and there wasn't enough staff to get the work done. So I was brought in. It was kind of like a quick ramp up mode. Let's hire some engineers, as quality people as fast as possible, so that we could get the job done. But then my focus over the past couple of years, so I've been there 4 years, has really been, not only how do we hire good people, but how do we create a positive and inclusive culture where people enjoy working together and stay productive. Because my philosophy has always been, it's not about just hiring people, which you can do, and maybe not always. Back in the day, maybe I didn't care as much. But it's not just about getting the position filled, but it's, if you're going to be hiring good people, how do you get them to want to stay there? Which I think is I think it's a little more fulfilling.
Right.
So
scale. So you brought in there the help scale up this company, and
that's right.
And so I see. So explain that, because I know it was a very different role than you had prior, right? In terms of, or was it similar?
I mean, I think all these things are. I think, it's sometimes the focus can be a little different, but I mean, overall, it's not that much different.
Right.
When I was interviewing, I think the thing that attracted me to the position was the company, the co-founders did care about creating a good work environment where a positive culture, because that's what I was about. And if I didn't hear that, then it wasn't going to be someplace that I wanted to go. I went on other interviews and was offered some jobs.
I hear that a lot
Yeah.
with my clients, and every time I take a request, if they if they need people, we always have a positive culture, and you see it on all the job
Yeah,
descriptions.
a lot of
Great
cliches.
environment.
A lot of cliches.
Yeah, yeah.
Transparency,
What's
communication.
what makes a good culture? Is it
It's a good
because
question. No,
really?
I think. Well, I think you got to get away from all the cliches.
Okay.
I mean, you got to take a step back. I'd say, I would consider this a 202 conversation. Not one on one, but basically, when you're recruiting people, you want to make sure that you understand what it is that they're looking for. Number one, I mean, if somebody's like, they're taking it. If somebody's into Matchbox cars and you're selling Matchbox cars, it might be a good place for them to work. But if their passion is having a goat farm, and this is a real thing that someone once told me. So they wanted to have a goat farm, and I was like, well, then why should we hire you for this job if your only goal is to save up enough money to go buy a goat farm in 2 years? It might not be
Right.
really the best place for you. So
Right.
so ultimately, I think you really have to, in addition to figure out if somebody's qualified, and this is just step one, right? To figure if they're going to be motivated and interested in the work and the workplace, because otherwise, you might be looking at somebody who's gonna leave quickly. So I mean, I think that's step one, right? So
Right.
if you get that, you got somebody who's qualified for the job. Because if not qualified, not going to work out, culture or not. We could all go, whatever, smoke our flavored vape pens outside or whatever. We're all into that, but that's not going to create anything good if we don't have the skills to do the job. Okay, so you got someone who's got the skills. Now they're motivated. They're interested in what they're doing. And then it's like, well, from there. And then I think that's maybe the question you're getting at. Then what's a culture from there? And I think you got to be organic with it. It's not going to be the same for every group. There's certain things that you can do, but, you can't force everyone. I've worked at a company where we'd all go play paintball. We all liked paintball. At the organization I'm at now, there's no way we'd get a bunch of people to play paintball. It's not happening. So I think it's kind of organic, but the main thing is how are we going to bring people together to not only work well as an organization while they're working, but I think it's important if you can create an environment where they can have like a friendly relationship or, positive vibes about each other. And I think the way that you do that is you get people to interact in different ways. Back in the day, we used to do fantasy football, and it's like some organizations would say, hey, this is a waste of time. We're losing because this guy's not working every second of the day, and they're looking at their fantasy football lineup. And that's one way to look at it. That's one very
Right.
old-fashioned, perspective on this. But then the other thing is, well, now this group of 12 people now has something else to talk about
They're bonding and making relationships with each other and just figuring more about
exactly.
it. Instead of
And
that. Right.
and hopefully it's within different, divisions of the organization. So now they're talking, getting to know each other a little better, and hopefully some different conversations come up. Maybe they learn something else about each other, and there'll be some synergy there, and they'll actually be able to work better together. So you got to kind of look at it, both ways. So I think the important thing is to put some things into place where people can form some of these relationships, and also have things in place where you're not burning out your employees, right? So I mean that also creates a positive culture. Are you paying them at least what good enough? Are you right, so that they can pay all their bills and don't feel like they're underpaid, right? So are you doing that? Do you have some kind of flexibility so they feel like they can take care of their family obligations or other things, whether it's occasional work from home, or maybe in some situations they always work remote, or do you have a good office where they can work? Are you encouraging people to take their PTO, paid time off, or are you discouraging them to do it? And then what's going to happen is, particularly in a small company, you could burn people out, right? Just ride them until they quit, and that could be a philosophy, but that's not sustainable.
And how, in terms of openness, I think that's a pretty good one too. In terms of like, if I'm going to go work at a place and I have issues to deal with outside of work and stuff, how open is the environment to kind of, addressing other things that I have to take care of? coming in, being comfortable enough to speak to if it's going to be my leader or whoever, and addressing certain issues that I have, and really, really cutting down in terms of being upfront with stuff, because you don't want to look like you're not being able to perform a certain task because you have other things you need to deal with. So the flexibility and being open to, just life challenges altogether, it starts for a good environment too. I feel like, being able to like have people come in, do what they need to do. There's, some objectives, have to create the flexibility and creativity to just kind of, come up with things on their own, and then being, there to support them, and it's, we have a small operation, so it's a little bit easy to manage. I know it must have been, right, because I think when you started, you said there was
under 10 people.
Under 10. So, and now there's how many people in the organization?
I mean, it's probably somewhere around 75 employees, and then some consultants and interns. We're probably all in about 80 or 85 people.
So the way things were done in the beginning, I would say they're probably different now, right? In terms of kind of how to addressing certain issues. I'm just
I mean, in what way? I mean, I think some things are have had to change. Yeah, I mean, operationally, you have to change certain things, but hopefully, everyone's mindset is more or less the same. Basically, that we care about each individual and the organization as a whole,
right?
As a group.
Okay. Now, one thing I wanted to ask you, because being in the tech space, well, you brought in as a talent expert in terms of engineering, right? I mean, software engineering.
Yeah, I mean, that's really basic.
The tech side,
I mean,
right?
Ultimately, that's what they wanted to at first get filled. Yeah, was some specific engineering roles.
So, in terms of your assessment of technical staff, right? In terms of the interviewing process, what has worked? What have you put into place in terms of evaluating the talent that you guys currently have or looking for? What do you do? Because I've seen a lot of things.
You want to take it from the beginning, like creating a good interview process? Or?
No, just what works the best. Because is it like does a technical screening? Because I hear a lot about doing these algo type questions, or taking home some project work for answering questions.
All these things you can do. You can do those things,
right? Now, ultimately, if someone does really well on that, does that mean that person will ultimately succeed in the organization?
No.
Or
no. I mean, it's a good indicator, but I mean, there's no guarantees.
Right.
There just isn't. Someone might do good at a take-home project and not be the greatest hire, or vice versa. Mm-hmm. But basically, yeah. I mean, creating a structured interview process. I mean, basically, you want to sit down with the hiring manager, figure out all the things that someone's going to need to do the job well, right? Mm-hmm. So what are the actual skills is typically the must-have skills is probably 3, mm-hmm. 4. And then some nice-to-haves, you put those all together. You create an interview plan. So each interviewer should only be covering 1 or 2 topics. And that should be really the whole of what their interview is about. Because what you don't want to do is have people asking the same questions, evaluating the same stuff, because you're going to wind up, 1, you're going to miss things, right, of what needs to be done. 2, you're going to create just a chaotic interview process, and the interviewee is going to feel like, hey, these guys don't know what they're doing, because everyone's just asking me, oh, look, you went to XYZ college. Why did you do that? I mean, it's like if everyone's asking the same thing, that's no way to have an interview process. So you want to have, each interview covers each thing. They give all the information back, and then they also should never communicate that to each other. They should never talk about the person that's being interviewed. Just they should give their skill evaluation to the human resource or recruiting rep, and the hiring manager, and then you can all get together, have like a round table, at the end, and discuss if everybody's what they basically put in their evaluations, and if anyone has any additional red flags or concerns, or maybe the opposite, they think this person is so great for some reason. Other than that, I mean, as far as putting in some kind of a take-home test or a skills-based test of some kind, I think those are good. I think they're a good tool. I don't think they're always the end all be all, but I think there's a good place for them. personally, I'm not a big fan of.
Do you guys do like whiteboardings and bring them in and kind
Yeah,
of go over?
yeah.
It's
I
a
mean,
standard type.
Well, basically, you go over with which you want to have a conversation with each person who's doing their respective interview, and make sure that they have relevant questions to ask on their topic. And a lot of times, particularly for engineering roles, that would include having the interviewee go up on the whiteboard and do some kind of a problem. And then you want to make sure that these, that the questions that are being asked or the problems they're solving on the board would be the same, ideally, or very similar, so that when you're, for each candidate, so that it's, you're comparing apples to apples, to figure out who has the right skills.
And this is great. I mean, I know you bring a lot of that background and experience into play and helping the organization. Have you had to educate a bit in terms of, because I know everyone's style of interviewing, back when we were talking earlier when I came in and doing role playing, where not everyone was does that type of style.
Well,
of interview.
I don't
Is there a standard
I don't do
interview
role
process?
play interviews anymore. I mean, to be quite honest,
Right.
I just
Well,
I was kind of having some fun
right.
with it at the
Well,
time.
it was a different type of position you were hiring for, right? You were hiring for recruiters, right?
Right,
Or you're not
yep.
doing that currently.
Not at the moment.
Not at the moment,
I
but
have,
you can.
I've
Yeah, you
hired.
can. Yeah,
I do.
it's a different business model, but yeah, no. In terms of just overall, things that you're overcoming and challenges in terms of like helping out the interviewees at the company, in terms of like what questions to ask. Are they?
Well, that'd be the interviewers.
Interviewers. But is there a instruction pamphlet that you created to like, okay, I need to go over these types of questions. Does everyone?
I mean, that's a good
do
question.
their
Yeah, I
own-
mean, I have
own
gone
type
over.
of
Well,
stuff?
basically, you want to. I mean, there's only so many. What's going to wind up happening is there's only so many roles that you're going to be hiring, right? So, if we hire software engineers that know Java, or DevOps engineers who know whatever they know, we're just going to continually be hiring those same people. So yeah, you do it once, right? So you make sure, hey, when you're talking to your interviewers, all right, so this is your topic. What kind of questions do you have? And you make sure you can take a look at what they've come up with. And if they can't come up with things that seem like reasonable questions, yeah, you should definitely help them. And there's a thing called Google, and you can look up other questions that other people are asking. You can generally find some good questions out there. And then you come up with basically like a question bank for each topic. So then even if that particular interviewer is not there, somebody else could come in and ask those same questions. So yeah, that's kind of how I'd put something like that together.
Right. And when you're looking for to assess if someone's going to be the right culture fit, or not a right culture fit, how does one go about that exactly? Is there certain things that you say you're looking for?
No, I think that you don't want to get. I mean that there can be certain things in someone's. If someone has never worked, I mean, for you have to look at your organization. I mean, for us currently, because we are a really small company, if somebody's really used to, let's say, only taking orders and have a very defined process and have worked for very large organizations, that would be something where they might not be able to be effective in a job at a small company, where you have to kind of know what it is you're doing, be self-motivated, self-directed to a large extent, because your boss is going to be busy doing something else and is most likely going to have some individual contributor responsibilities of their own. So that can be the type of thing. But whether or not I know, like back in the day, we worked for a company. I don't want to name names, but they like to hire if you were like a lacrosse player, they would hire you. So they had all these lacrosse players or whatever. I don't look for anything like that.
Right.
I don't think it's that important. So but basically, I want to make sure that they can would have the right mindset where they would be able to be effective at their job.
Right.
So
yeah. Now, so in your role as a director, that's the director, leader. That to me is kind of interchangeable in terms of a term. Leadership.
Leadership.
The importance of leadership. How does Ray define that? What's
The importance of it?
Well,
Or
no,
what is my philosophy? I mean,
your
I have my own
philosophy?
philosophy
What
on
is
it.
leadership to you?
Well, so typically, I run a small, small team now. Typically, I've run teams. We've worked together. I mean, I think
You
to
were
me,
great. I mean, yeah, you were one of my leaders. I was taking cues from kind of how you worked and how you went about your business, and I took parts that I felt that I could do or copy or kind of like bring into like my own personality.
right.
But so that that worked out well for me at the time.
So yeah, I mean, I think to be an effective leader, I mean, one, you lead by example, right? So show that you're doing your job well, putting everything into it. I think it's also important to have some compassion for the other person, the people that you're leading. You want to be respectful to them, understand that they've got their own lives, their own concerns, pretty early on. That's why I think you remember, I mean, I used to talk about, hey, what are your interests? What are your goals? What are your personal goals? Like, what do you have going on? I thought that was important just to get to know the people that you're working with, because everyone does not, follow the beat of the same drummer or whatever. Some people, the job is just there for them to get there and do the best that they can so they can go home. And, I had one person tell me that's what they would do so they could go home and take care of their, sick mother,
Right.
or whatever. So other people are like, hey, I just want to get really good at this. I want to be like the top performer. But you can't expect everybody to want to be that. So you got to get to know the people that you're managing. And then for me, I like to be, I know everyone says, transparent, but I like to really just tell people what's going on. I mean, I don't even always agree with it, but I'm like, hey, this is what management's doing. And, I think the type of leaders, managers I've never liked are ones who would take, who would like lie to you and say that they agreed with it, or
take credit for your hard work.
or that too. Nobody
Yeah.
likes that, but
Right.
I just like to tell them, hey, this is what's going on. It's a decision that's made. I'm not always going to tell you that I think it's right. I'm just like, hey, this is what we're doing.
See,
This
I think
is
that's
why.
part of like humility a bit, like understanding that this is what it is, and I'm not sure
what it is.
if it's right or wrong. What do you think? What
This is what we're doing.
This is what we're
Yeah.
doing, right?
Yeah. So I mean, you just
yeah.
gotta, or this is a decision that was made. This is what's happening. And you kind of, you can, if they're concerned or anything, you can talk to them about it. But you just gotta let them know what's going on. So I think if you had the person who works closest with me right now, I think they would tell you that I don't hide anything from them. I just tell them if something's going on, good, hopefully mostly good, but something, not good. I think I let them know what's going on. I'm not gonna put on a face like I'm always in agreement with them. Just like, hey, this is what's going on, and this is what we're doing. And I always try to do that. I think that, I mean, you saw that firsthand. I would just tell you what's going on.
Right. Right. Yeah.
So I think that's important. So I mean, I think because it is humility and respect. Like, this person is no different. It's no different than you. You'd want to know the truth, and it's just like you would want to know what's going on. It's just, maybe today, you work for me. Maybe tomorrow I work for you. So it's like, let's just
figure it out.
Figure it out together.
Yeah. Now, the one thing I always, kind of respected, conversation having with you is like always like this thinking big, like big picture thinking when we were, kind of wanted taking on the world in terms of business and kind of just growing and stuff. And I always we had this big outlook on life and being able to do whatever we set our minds to. I know back in the day, we always talked about that in the goal setting and
Yeah,
and
I
all
think it's
these
very
things,
important.
So
Well, I think the big thing is self-limiting beliefs. I think that's what stops a lot of people. So back in the day, right, one of my first accolades was it was like, it was just something that was put out there that we, at the time we were placing a lot of low-level consultants. No one had ever billed $1 million, right? So I had a plaque, first to bill $1 million, right? I actually that year billed 1.6 million.
you still have the plaque?
No, I threw it out. I did at some point. I was just like, why am I keeping this? Why am I keeping this? It's like an old pair of shoes or something. Just
do
throw
they
it
give
out.
out plaques anymore? mean, I'm
I
sure
have
they
no
do.
idea.
I mean,
We don't at my company.
Okay. No.
We had a
okay.
chess tournament. We give out a chess trophy.
That's nice.
I won.
Oh, did you?
Yeah, I probably shouldn't have participated. But anyway, so
Did you really win?
I did.
We could play chess after. See how good you are.
Let's
Did
do
you do
it.
it on a clock or is it more?
We were on. We had a clock. Yeah, it was timed, but I could do it either way.
I used to play.
I'm pretty good.
I used to have. Are you really?
I'm okay. Yeah, I'm
Yeah.
all right.
Do you play a lot? We'll see.
You'll find out. You'll
We'll
find
see.
out. Let's.
You know, I used to have a mini little computer one. You know, the computerized one.
Yeah,
I used to play a lot by myself.
Oh.
Just kind of like that. So, I think I still remember the moves.
play a lot with yourself. That's good, Mike.
Well,
So
so you get good.
absolutely. So what was I saying? Oh, self-limiting beliefs. So
Right.
so anyway, the point was no one had billed over $1 million, and again, the number isn't important. But I said,
And neither is the plaque.
I think I am. No, the plaque was totally not important. I said I think I could bill more than $1 million. I didn't. It because what difference does it make? I never. You know, I was like, I think that I could do a lot more than that. So I wound up,
Right.
like I said, it was not only did I the first they hit $1 million, I hit 1.6 million. But I think it was a point of, so when you're thinking big, you know, I'm not saying to be delusional and but not to just put self-limiting beliefs. So right now I play pool, and some guys, I don't know, it doesn't matter who he is, he's the best pool player, right? Or he's at the highest level, and the rest of us are a number of levels down, and a bunch of these guys that they have never beat him. I think they get intimidated, right? It's just like going up against Mike Tyson. People just were afraid to fight him. They would lose before they got in the ring. Me, I didn't care. I was like, I'm just going to go. And in fact, I think I played looser because I had nothing to lose. I played him once, I beat him. But the point is, I didn't have any belief that I couldn't beat him, because
Right.
why? Or why do you believe that you can't be the best, at the time, recruiter or whatever? I mean, I think the one thing is you don't want to have any kind of self-limiting belief. Just go for it, and don't worry about those type of things. And again, I'm not saying be delusional. For me and you to sit here and say, hey, we could start a company and build a rocket and go to Mars is delusional.
Right.
But for Elon Musk to say that, he actually can, because he has I think that's it's within the realm of possibility. So I'm not saying to be delusional. Just don't set beliefs of, I could never fill in the blank. I could never be good at this or whatever.
Right.
So I think that was one of the reasons why. Yes.
But you never had that. I mean, I know throughout my journey of just talking about in my career, like early on, I could barely speak in terms of how to conduct a proper interview, or how to get to know someone in terms of a professional setting. So I think in the beginning it took me a lot of time, and maybe more than most, but in practice and just doing that over and over, and repetition and repetition and repetition, and finally that self-limiting belief or whatever that might have been in terms of not being able to do it right, like I got in my own head in terms of what that goes away. Now,
Right.
is that something that's built in, or like, to me, I believe that's kind of like something you kind of like build up to in terms of like, because those thoughts will come in because it's either self-doubt, or is it like an idea, if they're a good idea or not a good idea. It's the balancing act that to overcome. So how
I think it was a process, like anything else. I mean, I definitely go, if I go harken back
right.
in my life. Yeah, I mean, I'm sure I had, but I think that the important thing is to get past that and realize that's not the thing to focus on. I mean, really, what you want to focus on is, hey, what is it I'm trying to accomplish, right? What is your goal? Whatever it is.
What's the objective, right?
Yeah, what do you want to do? You want to be the best at something, or you want to be good at it, or whatever, and then just work at the task. I mean, just like what you're saying, hey, I wasn't good at public speaking, so you do more public speaking, you get better at it. Don't focus on, why you can't. Just focus on getting a little better. And
how do you break through, though? I mean, there's a lot of people out there I would think that, or even if just thinking, all these things take time and like persistence and kind of effort, and to get good at something that you would like to get good at, but you have to earn money at it. You might not be able to earn money at it right away, so you have to take a job that you maybe don't like just to pay the bills. It's not easy.
These are all life is hard, so
Right.
I think we're all kidding ourselves if you think that life isn't hard for everybody. I think everyone that we meet, that's something we always have to keep that in mind, right? So I don't think anyone I think everyone has their own journey. I don't think anyone's journey is easy. I think that's why it's important to be kind to people, or just realize, like, a lot of times you'll see someone having a bad day or overreacting. You got to look. You don't know what this person has going on at home. I don't think anybody's. There was a time when I thought that some people had it easier, than I did or whatever. I don't think that anymore. I think that I think that life in general is difficult. We all have our own challenges, and nobody's life is perfect.
Yeah.
So
if you believe the one thing I've been near, like a Jordan Peterson or life is suffering, like everyone's suffering, and how you get through it. Like that's a big thing. Like if you have
that was my grandfather's philosophy.
Well, I think it goes back to, I don't want to misquote it, but it goes back to like is it Buddhist?
Buddhist, yeah,
Buddhist.
It is Buddhist.
That's what it comes to.
It's part of the journey, right? We're all here to suffer.
Right. Check. All right. So let's move on. All right. What are we gonna do? Right. Aim for the greatest good and try to imagine that and just go for it. So everyone's on that personal journey and development, and it's pretty cool. So you're spending a lot of time, right? You're spending, helping out. You're helping out your company, Casisto, right?
Yep.
Is that a good way to say it now?
Sure.
Say it I'm spending a lot of time doing what I do, because I love kind of how it's providing me the life and flexibility of managing all I have to do. It's purpose, it's mission, why do it for, I think you mentioned before, you were saying that that what makes a good hire, right? If they're into kind of what the company's doing, what they're all about. Is it like?
Well, I'm gonna tell you a little story.
If I find your company, am I gonna because I think that if someone actually seeks you out and they want to hear more about you and the leaders are there and the mission and this seems
that's a good sign.
I want to so that's a good sign. But yeah, I'm always looking where I'm going to invest my time and why I'm going to do it with you together. Let's even today, have this conversation. I figured I brought you in because I'm gonna I want to find out what's going on with Ray and learn from what you've been doing and kind of. So that's for me is purpose and stuff. So in terms of being out there and working in your career, you're putting all this time and energy into something that hopefully it's doing good, as opposed to maybe not going to work out. What do you say to kind of mission and getting on board with other people? You
lost me there, man.
Yeah, I went out. Yeah.
But do you want to we could go back to?
Yeah, we're gonna have to cut this part. We're gonna have to cut out.
What makes a good hire? Do you want to go back to that?
No, I want to go. What makes not even a good hire in terms of going to work at a company and being there and why would I want to join?
Step 1, always show up. Step 2, have a good time. Step 3, ask for stuff, and you'll find that the magic will happen.
Oh, I like that. Where'd you get? Is that your personal?
It is. It's an actual real thing that I made it up, but
it's a real thing.
That's my philosophy. Step 1.
Did you read that in a book?
No, it's my own personal philosophy. I found it works really well. Step 1, show up. Step 2, always have a good time. One of the nicest things. One of the nicest things. Just to repeat it. Step 3, ask for things that you want. So one of the nicest things, compliment anyone has ever given me at where I work, is they say, you walk around, you look like you're going through life like you're on a cruise ship. You never seem stressed out. You just seem like you're having a good time, no matter what's going on around you. And really, that's the way that you should look at it. Because back in the day, I used to get stressed out about stuff, and
I never. It's knowing you, and I never saw that. I guess. Well,
that's
everyone
good.
deals with it differently,
there
right?
Was, there were times back then. I think, not always. I still tried to have a good time back then, but there were times when I would let things get to me. I think I really let a lot fewer things get to me now. I haven't thrown a pen, and I can't remember how long.
Throwing pens.
But yeah, I mean, because why? There's no point to it.
Yeah, why? Well, I guess.
You know what I mean? Why get so upset? it's not going to help anything. So
Right.
so I don't bother.
So that's step one is to show up.
Step one
Two,
is
have a
show
good
up. If you
time.
don't show up, nothing good can happen.
Right.
Step two, always have a good time. If you're in a situation where there's no way you're going to have a good time,
Right.
you should leave and not show up again. Number three, ask for what you want, and a lot of times, be surprised you will get it. You know,
Ask for what you want.
yeah,
They say that. They say like if you know how to ask for things in a certain way, you'll be surprised what you could get.
I don't want to
that,
go into the details, but I've from doing that. I mean, people tell you offline, but I've had some remarkable experiences where I've gotten 3 free trips. One to Europe.
I like to. Who do I ask for that?
It's just like when the circumstances come up. But anyway, I've had multiple. Got to. I mean, just like amazing things. Just nights out and just incredible stuff, fun. Just by. Obviously, this wasn't. I'm not talking work related necessarily, but just asking for things. I was like, wow, what a wonderful blessing just by asking, and then you get it.
It makes a lot of sense. You can't just go and just grab and get it. Right? You have to use words.
You got to ask. Ask for
you have to
things.
use words in a certain
Right.
way.
You get what you want. You asked me to show up today.
Yeah.
I didn't wake up.
No, I was.
Yet I'm still here.
Yeah.
You asked and you said, hey, just make it.
That's very true. As we're starting to do this, I'm trying to figure out how I'm going to all put it together. And I'm just going so far in advance in terms of my thinking. It's like, oh, well, this is not going to work. How am I going to be able to do it? I'm like, oh, wait, I just need to ask.
Just ask.
And then it'll work out.
Get a little better every day. Learn something, try to learn a little more about it every day.
So what keeps you, showing up, having a good time, just ask for things.
Yeah.
Right? Those,
that really,
that's a great philosophy.
That's the title of my upcoming book. I'm kidding. I don't have, but if I did, that would be one of them.
Well, I would be holding up like this right now. There
right.
you go. There you go. But so what else keeps you going in terms of your engine and just motivated and getting up in the morning, getting up in the morning and getting at it and having a good time?
Every morning. I absolutely do.
Right.
Every morning.
Right. The sun rises every morning. That's good. Right.
I get up at it.
But what keeps you? Going to work, going.
Well, I'll tell you, there's never a dull moment. You're
Yeah.
working at a small, growing, dynamic company. It's definitely things going on every day. I mean, one of the things that motivates me is, I do get to work on different things and learn. Like every day is a learning experience. So I do enjoy it. I think it's important, especially, so I'll handle more people operations or human resource related things. So, you can't know everything and different situations come up. So I think it's important to have like a network. I do have a good network of other people who are in a similar role to myself. And I think you have to be humble. And when you don't know things, just ask, when they don't know things, and maybe I do, you try to be forthcoming with information and share the knowledge. I think that's super helpful. So I know some people like to have a mentor or whatever, but it's important to have people that you can talk to that you trust their opinions.
And how else do you get better? Like, how do you work on your self-improvement in terms of, do you health wise? Are you eating right? Going to the gym?
Try to eat. It could be challenging, definitely, but just definitely try to eat right, stay healthy, all that.
Do you have a plan? Do you have a plan, or just kind of?
Right now, I'm kind of winging it.
Right.
Probably not the best plan, but you look like you've been hitting the gym.
A little bit, yeah.
That's good.
I go every day. I don't know if I do it right.
That's good.
I go pretty much
show
5
up.
days a week. I just show up.
Yeah, show up. That's
and,
part one.
And then I wing it.
Then
I just wing it. So that's what it's about there. But thanks, friend. I don't know how long have you been shooting here?
You guys have been going for about 45 minutes.
That's not.
We can keep on going.
We can keep on going. Yeah, that one part I lost you at the whole mission. My thing was saying, we're gonna be in this world for a certain period of time, right?
Yeah, I guess I got 25 years left.
25,
25, yeah. Probably died.
Oh, you're older than me.
Yeah.
Right. How old are you now?
49.
49. Okay, so a few years.
I figure 75 is a good age to die.
To check out.
Check out.
So what is it? So you have 25 years left, right?
Yep.
What do you want to get done here? Like, it's a limited time,
is.
and do you want to leave a mark? You just want to have fun and show up and have fun. I mean, is there something deeper? Is there deeper purpose and deeper meaning that that Ray's searching for? Because
I think the kind of marks that I'm trying to leave are with the individual relationships and how I touch people's lives. I would hope to in a positive way, either directly or indirectly. I'm not trying to build a rocket to the Mars, but yeah, I just try to. I think it's kind of like something that you go through in life. When I was younger, I thought it would be more important to build some kind of a large company and have a bunch of assets and these things are mine and
5-car
but at the end
garage and
yeah
cars,
and
no?
I wanted this car and this house and had to have a swimming pool and all these things, but at the end of the day
This is just things.
it's just things. It doesn't matter. The car breaks down, the car can be annoying, the line around the pool leaks, and then you got to have a diver come and now he's trying to fix it. A lot of things they're at the end of the day they're nice to have, but they're hassles. And
More money, more problem.
yeah, I mean
Kinda.
they're constraining. I mean, I think one of my heroes, to be quite honest, is that the first guy who won American Ninja Warrior, because the guy just likes to climb mountains, right? So Isaac Caldiero, he just likes to climb mountains. So that's what he does. And then he didn't have any money, so he just lived in a van, camps out in his van, would climb mountains, mountain climber guy. And then heard about the American Ninja Warrior, was like, hey. And the guy just eats like rice and beans every day, And I'm not saying I could do that. I wouldn't do it. But I'm saying because he just loved climbing mountains. So he was like, hey, American Ninja Warrior, if I do this, I'll win $1 million. He's like, I will be set. I could eat rice and beans the rest of my life. Never have to worry about money.
Right.
And he won. And think about it. He doesn't, he could have a job. He could do all kinds of stuff. But he's like, he's just doing what he loves. And I think that's something that really should be respected, because it's like at the end of the day, whether or not what kind of car he had, like who cares,
And I think doing what you love, doing what's passionate, these are things that takes a time. I think for me, maybe not for everyone. Maybe right off the bat, what you love and what you love to do, and I think everyone's different with that respect. But as I'm getting older, I'm figuring, I kind of love I like business. I like my home life. I like my family, my wife, my kids, my friends. Those are the things that I really respect and value. And I just, I think finding what you love and kind of living to that is cool, right?
Yeah, man.
Yeah. So how do you, Ray? So Ray, what do you love? I mean, other sides from the relationships and people, and
I love this coffee.
It's a great.
And I
coffee.
love to have, honestly, I love to have an omelet in the morning. I really, if I don't have an omelet in the morning, I really just don't feel like myself.
An omelet.
I love it.
Just no
I
bread.
don't always do it.
Did you have one today?
I did.
Oh, nice.
So I felt like I was ready to go.
An omelet with Ray.
It could be different. Sometimes with cheese, sometimes without.
I had 3 egg whites with avocado and bacon on a plate.
Oh, that's nice.
Nice.
That sounds delicious.
No carbs. Crunchy bacon gets you going.
Yeah, I try not to eat too much carbs. They're not really good for me. But yeah, I mean, one of the things, go back to work. I mean, we were talking about it earlier, but one of the things that changed, like I was telling you, back in the day, I didn't care as much about whether something worked out long term. Like if I had, like I was telling you, if I had a job or a job opening for someone to do some work for a month, I would rather put someone in for a week that I knew would quit or flake out after a week.
If you didn't have that person that you thought was right for the month.
Exactly.
Right.
I'd rather put that guy in, and then in the meantime,
Who's
going to
show up? I think who's going to show up? I remember we used to use the philosophy.
I used to say
showing up is half the battle.
I used to say
Yeah.
I think one of the funniest things we used to say, I don't know if you remember this, we would be talking about someone like that who had to go to one of these go to work jobs, right? Show up right away, and we would say he'll show up. Then pause. The first day. Remember that?
Right. Yeah. That's
show
funny.
up the first day.
Right.
You might not make, but
Right.
but yeah, I mean, I think now I wouldn't do that now because I think
Right.
it's I think sometimes you might be better. Well, unless it would depend on the if
The person,
the
in the
hiring
job, yeah.
manager would say, but I think I'd be more honest, like not try to sell the person as that they would show up for the whole month, and maybe they would want to wait and see if we
Right.
get somebody
Right.
else.
Right. Yeah. No. Yeah. So I mean, listen. It's we've been in this recruitment talent space for a really long time. So things have things have
Yeah.
definitely changed a bit. Maybe
Things have changed, but they
Our
stay the
pers-
same.
right. I've said that
Yeah.
in my last show. I say exactly that.
Yeah.
But I think and I think with time, my
Oh,
perspective has changed, right? Because I'm
Right.
seeing it from a different lens, right? I'm seeing it from, all right, not my lens in terms of me. If I'm successful in placing someone, that's kind of check mark on my box. Whereas how is this going to impact this person's role in what they're doing in terms of a hiring manager? Like if I can make you successful, that's my focus. Okay, what's your issue? What's your problem? How are we trying to, how are you trying to grow? If I could solve that for you, then the rest of it will take care of itself. So let's get to that, and understanding what you need long term, and then hopefully do it on the other side of it, with the person, because I'm taking their time. Like I said, we only have a certain amount of time left. If we're juggling people and and pushing people into situations that might not work out for them. I mean, that doesn't work out for anyone. It just doesn't feel right and good. You know what I mean? In
Yeah,
terms of making the wrong match happen, because it's just wasted
It's a waste.
time and wasted opportunity. And maybe it's not a waste. Maybe you have to go through those periods of just those periods of just figuring things out. And that's what it takes.
I think you brought up a really good point. I think one of the ways that you can become, or that I found where I was able to be really successful, was having those conversations that you're kind of alluding to. It's like, what is it that when you're talking to a hiring manager, you can, 101, like, what are the must-have skills? What are the nice-to-have? What is this person doing? So on and so forth. It's very simple, but it's like, if you can have a deeper conversation into really understanding what's the business need, what is it that's really happening here? If you get like a better feel for what's happening, a lot of times you can stretch the position, where I think a lot of recruiters don't like to really get an in-depth understanding and know what's going on, and then they have to stick to a keyword search, or only get only hire or submit candidates that have a certain background. One of the ways, if you have some of these other conversations, I know, back in the day, say we were all the wireless equipment, was being installed, and anyone could get jobs for, cell site technicians to install this equipment, but nobody wanted them because they were impossible to find. And all these guys had jobs if they were any good. But then, having some in-depth conversations, really getting an understanding of what these people would be doing and what are the actual skills, and would there be anyone else who could learn this stuff quickly enough. I was able to figure it out. There were some people who had come out of some different backgrounds who were able to do this stuff.
Right.
Some guys who'd worked on some equipment from the military and whatever it was. It doesn't really matter it's just one example. But anyway, and then we started looking for those jobs, and actually nobody else wanted them, and we would grab them because we could fill them. And
Right.
then, I did that multiple times, and it was just it's not just taking a normal job order or so, that's why the worst is they just say, and on the agency side, just go look the job up on the, on the internet. That's not helpful,
Right.
because you really want to talk to the manager and get a real understanding of what's going on. And then you can find candidates, and it's fulfilling on both ends, because here's a person who has the right skills, doesn't even realize they could do the job.
Right.
And here's a job that needs a person with those skills, and they don't even realize that people with this background could do it. And those are always the most fulfilling for me. Or I remember a guy that the only thing that was wrong with him is he didn't know English, and so I wound up looking up some free language place for him. You know what I mean? And we got him to, I stayed in touch with this guy for 6 months, and 6 months later he knew enough English where we got him a job. But back in the day, I don't remember, it was a 5E technician, which was like a switch.
Yeah,
It was
yeah.
like a switch. But anyway, yeah, I mean, I was really happy for that guy. But I think those are the things where you could be creative, but you're not going to be able to do that type of stuff unless you're having the in-depth conversations, really understanding what
Well,
it
that's
is
the thing
that
what
they
you're
need.
saying right there, really understanding, because
Really understanding.
I
Yeah.
think it took me a while to, realize that I need to listen and digest what they're telling me. And then when I don't understand, ask questions.
There you
right?
go.
There we go. We could tie it all in.
That's it.
But really ask questions. And all right, well, let's
Yeah.
see it from a different way. I have people that I speak to, and storytelling. They can tell a story around what they're saying, and to me, sometimes that when someone paints a picture for me, that's that's the way I learn. I like to learn, and it's kind of absorb it more. When you could put it into actual. Well, we need a developer that could, is going to be working on this type of thing and could do all this type of stuff and just paint a picture around it. Helps me understand and break it down a little bit. So when I'm going out there and searching, I could pick up the pieces. If you follow that train of thought, but it's the asking questions, the listening, deep conversations. Those are vital, to get to building and growing and having a good time.
Absolutely.
Right?
Yeah.
Right.
Got to ask. That was always the easiest way. I mean, if to understand a job, right, was just to ask questions. I mean, that can be talking to a hiring manager, get an understanding of what is going on his team.
Right.
Why is this business need open? Why can't someone else do the work? Whatever. And also understanding a job someone's doing just is, there's some, of course we can all, do a little homework, look some stuff up. I'm not saying start from zero, but a lot of times you're still not going to understand what someone does the first time you recruit on a job, right? And you just ask the candidate. I mean, it's just that simple. Like, ask them, what is it that you do? Or I don't understand what this is. Can you give me some, background into this? And I mean, and they're usually super forthcoming, and they can kind of explain it.
Let me ask you this: in terms of advice you would give to a person trying to apply for a position at your company. Maybe they don't have the perfect resume that you'll pick up on right away, but they have a real interest in your company and what you're saying, what the mission is of the company. What do they do to go about getting more information, and what can they do to maybe see if there's opportunity for them? Is that something that's welcomed at the company, or
it has been. I mean, we've definitely hired people based on their interest. I mean, typically it'll be lower level positions. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like if someone needs to be, a senior specialist in X, Y, and Z, if you don't have the skills, we just can't hire you. But, for some of the more entry level positions or even internships, things like that. Yeah. A lot of times it's been because people were just really interested in the technology and were interested. We've had people like show up unannounced, like, oh, I saw the job, I can do this, and I just love to. I mean, again, lower level jobs.
Right.
I mean, I don't recommend that. Please don't show up. But yeah, but I mean, that's if somebody's just interested in what we're doing. I think that goes a long way.
If you had to rewind the clock in terms of what Ray does now, in terms of what you've done before, in terms of career, in terms of getting into recruitment, would there be something else that's out there that interests you? That you think about that in terms of a different field, different career, that maybe would have been interesting to do, possibly?
Not really. I mean, I don't have any regrets. I really enjoy what I'm doing. I was telling you earlier, I've had some pretty nice offers to work at other places, some hard offers and some other, interviews, requests. And that again, for more money.
Right.
I think at some point we'll have a price. If it was enough
Sure.
more money, maybe I would take a look at it. But no, I really I really enjoy what I'm doing day to day. So, I've just never been one of those people, who, if you give me an extra $1 an hour or 10 grand a year, I'm gonna jump. I don't think that's the way to go through life. I you know what I mean. I'm more of a loyalist. You know, I do feel loyal to an organization if I'm there, and I think part of that loyalty is, you know, not just be pursuant to the highest dollar, you know, for another dollar an hour or something or whatever. I'm not, you know, I'm not gonna jump ship.
Right.
You know, it's just not the way I am. But no, I'm really happy in what I'm doing. I don't like look back and say, damn, I wish I would have been a race car driver or something. No, I, you know, I don't, you know what I mean? Yeah, I just don't, you know, that's, I don't, I mean, I don't know. I never think about stuff like that.
Yeah. So it seems like you're in a good spot, right, in life, and you have a good life balance. Another cliche I hear a lot. I have a lot of life. What is life balance? What is life balance, right?
Yeah.
Having a good life balance. What does Ray do for fun? What do you outside of the?
Well,
the
I mean,
office?
I would say the balance. Just thinking about philosophy of balance. I mean, it is important. I mean, that is, you know, there's some things. Well, you know, like there are some things that are important. Which my philosophy in like running a team and having balance, I think, is different. I would start with, I mean, just some very small things. I think there is a philosophy where a lot of managers like to make sure that their people that work for them are at their desk every single second of the day. And they like people who say eat at their desk and never leave. So I can't say from where, because at the time I was asked not to, but I was privy to, now again, this could be different at other companies. You know, I'm not saying it might not be universal, but for the organization where I was working, they did bring in consultants who were able to track productivity for each employee based on, you know, what they were doing, time they were doing it, and all this type of stuff. So it was basically scientific. And one of the things that was found were that the perception was that the people who stayed at their desk, in other words, ate lunch at their desk and just stayed and sat there, were more productive, was the thought. And then, but what actually was found was the people that got up more often during the day, including one of the main things was not eating lunch at their desk, were more productive. And these were measurable KPIs, or whatever you want to call it, to the point of more placements. Like it was like, well, this person, like you can't base, well, this person is actually doing really well. But it was like, yeah, but compared to other people in their same group, like who are, you know, top performers, you know. So when it was actually broken down, it was the people who, and that goes, there's a lot of things like that just go against, you know, common sense or what you might think. Like you would think, well, the person sitting at their desk, they're sitting there more, so they must therefore be more productive. But they're not, because you get tired. It's not the way the body works. You need blood has to flow or whatever it is. And so, I mean, I think it's, you know, these are some of the things that I always look at. You know, I like to try to look at things.
You loved the lunch back in the day.
I love to go out to lunch. I
remember,
think it's important.
I think you're a big.
I encourage it.
I
think you should.
Remember
you
back
should
in
go
the
out
day, Tony, when I worked for you, it was.
What's good today?
It was a big thing. Where to go, and where we're
Absolutely.
going to be.
That was we used to say, what's good today?
Right.
Where are we going for lunch?
It's exciting.
It is exciting, and I think, see, I'm excited right now thinking about what I might eat for lunch. And but see, these are the type of things that's motivating, because you're getting a different perspective. You're getting up, you're moving around, and then like you come back and like you think of things that you're like, oh yeah, like, you know, it's like
something else will
pop in your mind. So I think it is important to get up and move around. I think it's important. The same thing. When we're talking about balance, that's a balance in a day. Like have some different perspectives, do some different things, move around. I think I prefer my team to do that. Like I don't want a bunch of people who are just going to be sitting and eating lunch at their desk. That it actually irritates me. I feel like they're going to be less productive, in my opinion. And it's not just my opinion. Like I said, I happen to be privy to this study, and it was for recruiters, right? But I got to see it, and it was something I would have never guessed, or I might have guessed, but I probably wouldn't have. But the truth was, this study showed, no, they were less productive if you sat at your desk. I think it's the same thing. Like these people who maybe there's some people who don't have a balance and will just like become workaholics and just work, do nothing else, take no vacations. And I really frown upon that. I think that people, you know, I've been in working for well over 20 years,
Right.
and I've seen a lot of people have nervous breakdowns where they had to go to the hospital, or where they had to quit their job, or where they got sick. I mean, there was a guy that we worked with 20 years ago. You probably don't remember, but he got so stressed out, he got sick, he couldn't come back to work, and he never did. And the point is, that's why you can't work. It's not sustainable to work, whatever number you want to put, 16 hours a day or
Right.
whatever. I mean, you could do it one day if you had to for some reason, right? If something's really important,
Right.
but it's not sustainable. And I think there's a big fallacy out there, and I'm not going to name names with all these success gurus, and but I think if you looked in the reality, most of them come from family money or whatever, but
Right.
you're not working 16 hours a day. You're not gonna, this is not a realistic philosophy of, and I mean, my background. I was the top recruiter at the largest privately held staffing company in the world, right? So I was the top producer, and did I work some extra hours? Yeah, but did I work, all those hours every single day and work every, no, I was always going out on the weekends and doing fun things and whatever it was. I think I did have a balance. Like I never
Right.
felt like I was, yes, did I make some extra phone calls if I had to, or take an early morning call, or
We had some late nights.
you have
back in
to
the,
do, you have to do
right.
some of that. And I'm not saying you could, stay home in bed every
Right.
day and you're going to be successful. You're not. But I think that then you can't expect someone just to, only focus on work and have no life, and then they're going to be the super successful recruiter or
Right.
HR person or whatever. I think that's just not true, and I don't think it's healthy. And I've never wanted to work for a company where that was the focus or that was considered positive. Like you want people who are productive and work hard, but you don't want
Yeah,
you know-
self-driven type people. Like I find like what works, for me, because I can only talk about from my perspective, is like having some sort of an outlined schedule. Kind of, all right, from this time to this time I'm going to be doing this. This time I'm going to be doing that. I give myself
Absolutely.
a big window during the day where I go to the gym or I try, So I'll give myself a big window because depending on where work is and meetings and where I'm at, if I'm out traveling or if I'm in the office, I'll try to set those like, all right, it's a big gap. When I see there's a kind of a period where it's a little lull, then I'll just go there, get my, workout in. I feel much better when I come back, and then I'll
great.
take on the day. So I kind of have some sort of an outlined structure with like room for flexibility to kind of navigate during the day. So I find routine
Right.
and I have in a calendar, and I try to plan out like I'm getting better in terms of planning out longer term because there's many more things on my calendar. But like that seems to help too in terms of structuring your day, like having some sort of order in the midst of this whole chaos that we have to
Right.
go through life, because things are going to happen. They're going to just, you're going to have to deal with that you didn't see, before, but
Absolutely.
but having that,
I definitely am a fan of time blocking your day. To
Do you-
have, yeah.
do you work off a calendar, or is it just more in
I
your
do.
mind?
No, I have a calendar. So
Google Calendar, or
I have Google Calendar because we have
great,
to set
right?
up a lot of different, meetings at work, and I do time block, because I have to do many different types of tasks. So I will time block time to do. I would say more on a weekly basis because some things are so disparate from each other. But I'll make sure I have some time to work on the different things that I need to, and some are blocked off on the calendar, so weekly occurring. So I always have that time available. Other things I will add as I need to, day to day or week to week.
right? It's
I think it's really important. You have to have, some kind of a schedule
right.
for sure.
Yeah,
It's a
routine.
good point. A lot of people might not know that. I think it's really important. Time blocking.
I think, I think some people might think that that's kind of restricting, right? You're gonna have to put a calendar. You're gonna have to set like, this time. And it kind of seems
So
like
easy.
it almost seems like it's almost, if you look at it, it could seem like this is kind of like a prison box. I gotta, do this at this time, this at this time, this at this. But the more you do, and the more you get disciplined at it, you're free. It's like freeing in a way because things get done and you get accomplishments done, and then there's more room in there to do other things that you want to set out to,
Yeah.
But
And it's not. And the bottom line is, if you have to do something else, you can change it.
of course, yeah,
If something comes up,
yeah, right.
when things come up sometimes. But yeah, no, it's good to have.
So managing your time, that's
very important.
That's very important. Yeah. Now, as opposed to having others manage your time for you,
Right.
right. Take control of that part
Yeah.
of your life, because that's,
It's
being
nice,
at
yeah.
your desk, from this time to this time, eating lunch all day. That's not. That doesn't seem like a happy existence for too long. Some people like. Some people do
I
it though.
guess, it's not productive. They should really move around. They're more productive if they just move around. Leave the office, get the blood flowing, come back.
Right.
You know, you can bring your lunch if you want. Maybe trying to save money or whatever it is, but just go eat in the park. I really try to get people out of the office. I can work for me. I can't. I try to tell people when I'm interviewing them, even for the company, like, you're better off just moving around. You know, it's a big thing. Take your PTO. Take your time off.
Have a good time. Have a good time, right?
Take your time off.
Well, you're fun and have a good time.
Well, you're going to be working hard, right? So you're going to work hard. But so the reason why we have these days off is not, is not for no reason. We have them so you don't burn out. Like, we want you to take days off. That's why days off are there.
Right.
If you don't take them, it is possible you will eventually burn out. So can't.
When was the last time you've been on vacation, Ray?
I was just on vacation.
Nice.
I was in Florida.
Nice.
Last weekend.
Oh, me too. Me too, actually. Yeah, I didn't know that.
It was great.
Miami, nice. Wow.
It was nice, yeah.
It was hot, right? I was hot. I was
very
in
hot. Yeah,
Orlando.
It was super hot. It was great at the beach. One day we did the what's it called? Windward Walls. So we're outside and we're really baking in the heat. So that was really actually not positive. That was not so much fun. Hanging out the beach is good.
Nice. We went to Universal with the family.
Oh, nice. Oh, you did that? Yeah, that's cool, man.
It was 2 days. We did
That's
actually
good.
2.5 days there. The other
Kids like it?
Kids loved it.
Okay.
It was good. My we did the rides for the second time. The first time was kind of cool because they have all these these rides that are like VR type stuff. You get in there, you feel like you're in a roller coaster, but you're not. You're going through these things. And
Right.
first time seeing it was like pretty cool, and it was like me doing it for the first time. But like the second day in the park, I did these rides again. We didn't get the same feeling. Like I felt like it was like for me, but the kids loved it. So
Really?
Sometimes you got to just do things for kids because
Yeah.
you got to experience. They loved it. But what we did do, which I love, I highly recommend, a place called Dove Cove in Disney, where there's a lot of animals that you could interact with. Birds kind of come to you and they feed out of your.
I didn't do that. I've been to Disney a few times. Yeah,
dolphins and stuff like that.
Oh, wow.
And there's a lot of people who are. They really love those animals, and they take care of them, and they're just like family,
Wow.
which is pretty cool. And you
That
get
is
the
pretty cool.
chance to meet them and hang out and very relaxing. Lazy River, you could do that for like an hour.
That's nice.
Nice. It's like a spa.
I've done things like that.
It's kind of cool. It's kind of cool. Yeah.
Cool.
Awesome.
You go to Splish Splash out here? They got the lazy river.
My family does. I don't.
You don't like
I'm
it?
too busy at work. No, I got things to do. I can go down
good.
a wet slide. Yeah. Have you been?
Yeah, not
Probably
recently,
like-
but
right.
yeah, I've been a few
Splish
times.
Splash.
It's close to here. It's not too far.
So when's the next vacation?
I don't have anything planned, but I do plan to plan another vacation. I usually like to go on go away a couple times during the winter because it gets cold.
A couple times during the winter.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I like to go someplace warm during the winter.
How many vacations a year do you set? Because I just started implementing. I find it because now the kids, 3 kids, so it's too young. It's just too much to take. I mean, it's hard to find some help to my situation. So it's not just break away. But so now it's 2 big vacations a year, and I think vacation is good.
Yeah.
But for me, it's not too long.
Right.
It's I feel.
Well, you work for yourself. If you're way
things to
too
do.
long, yeah. If you're way too long, I mean, things fall by the wayside. So yeah.
So you do a couple of time in the winter, and then in the summer and the spring.
I do quite a few.
Well, that's pretty nice.
Yeah. Well, it's one of the benefits of working for a company. I have people who can cover some of the stuff while I'm away.
That's great.
That's a benefit. It's a benefit.
Nice.
It's nice.
Nice.
I do more than 2.
Well, that's good. Have fun, right? That's it. I mean, go.
Yeah,
Go.
yeah.
That's what it's about, right?
Show up.
Show up and have fun.
Have fun. If you're not having fun.
Well, I hope you had
so-
fun. I hope you had fun with this.
Had a lot of fun.
They're going to have a lot more fun.
We could definitely talk other times about fun things that you can do another time. Do a lot of fun things. In addition to the chess tournament. We're in the middle of
Well, we're
we're
gonna
in the
go.
middle of a pool tournament.
Are you really?
Yeah.
Nice.
Billiards.
There's a billiards by my.
You wanna go?
We might. I gotta have to see
go
what I'm
play a
doing
game.
after. Yeah.
You got any time?
But I actually would like to challenge you to a chess.
Oh, we're
chess,
definitely gonna play chess.
chess. I would actually do it here on live. Maybe next time we'll set it up and.
We could have been talking and playing at the same time.
Yeah, maybe
that would be
there's
super boring for all your viewers. Or maybe not. I don't know.
maybe not. Who knows? There might be. Apparently, there's viewers for everything. So we'll
Apparently,
see.
yeah.
See. But Ray, appreciate the the time. I think we did good. I think
Sure.
we could keep going if we want, but
It's up to you. I mean, there's a lot more to talk about.
When we get to
But-
when we get to chess and other things.
All right.
But
You've
you
had
know,
enough? I mean, is it, whatever.
No. I think come back soon.
Talk
right?
about, we go back and talk about all the places we used to go to.
Oh boy, I don't know. I'm not there yet, but we'll get there. We'll get there. All right.
All right.
Thanks, man.
All right, man.
All right.
All right.
Later, brother.